Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I've got my last minute top 10 tips for you to do before the pre-patch drops on the 18th. We've got a variety of different tips for this list. Some of them are massively time saving, gold making, and then some of them are just a little bit quirky. So let's jump in straight away. First of all, I'm going to be talking about shattering Nexus crystals. In Classic WoW, Nexus crystals aren't needed for many recipes, so they are quite cheap. For instance, on my server they're about 3 gold, okay? But in TBC, using the Nexus transformation craft, they can be shattered into a small prismatic shard, and 3 small prismatic shards can be combined into a large prismatic shard. Okay, when I used to play in private servers, a large prismatic shard would sell for about 20 to 25 gold. And I imagine they will cost much more when Classic TBC drops because the economy will be even more inflated. So you're essentially paying 9 gold for 3 Nexus crystals that can be crafted into 3 small prismatic shards that can be turned into a 1 large one. And that is basically a triple gold flip, if not more, when TBC Classic does actually launch. Before we jump on to our second point, guys, one of the best ways that you can actually prepare for TBC Classic and leveling in the pre-patch is to get a extremely powerful and effective leveling add-on. Luckily, there's an add-on out there called Rested XP. This add-on has been developed by extremely passionate and professional pro World of Warcraft speed levelers. You can trial the add-on for free up until level 30 before you decide to actually pay for the add-on, and when you do pay for the add-on you will actually be helping me out quite a lot, since I do get a little bit of the money too. So if you want to support me and support the developers of the add-on, I'd recommend for you to check it out. But anyway, let's move on to the second point, and this is definitely one of the more quirky ones on the list. You can actually exploit the pre-patch to get any faction mount that you want. Okay, so let me explain how you do this. In Classic WoW, you need a specific mount type riding skill in order to ride a mount. For instance, horse riding skill, ram riding skill, mechanostrider riding skill, etc. And this all goes in the Burning Crusade. And obviously, the mounts in Classic are bind on use. Okay, so what you can do is you can get your friend of another race to buy the epic mount for 800 gold. Okay, if he's honoured and has rank 3 PvP rank. Then he can trade you the mount, right? Because they're bind on use, you can just trade them. And then you just wait for the pre-patch to drop, and then everything changes. Okay, as long as you have an epic mount in your bag, in your inventory, you will automatically get journeyman riding, and you'll be able to use that mount that you basically got traded, without actually having to be exalted with the faction that that mount belongs to. And since doing a runecloth method on my server will cost 1,260 gold from revered to exalted, this will save you a lot of wonga. So you can effectively get a mount of every single faction for 2,400 gold. And this will probably save you a lot of money in the long run if you are interested in collecting mounts. My third tip is to buy materials now for getting your professions beyond level 300. So in a pre-patch, literally every single material that actually required for leveling up your professions will very likely increase, because people are going to be leveling professions on their new draenei and blood elf characters. You know, this can be runecloth to things like thorium bars or dreamfoil. And in TBC, the cost of netherweave cloth and fel iron bars is also going to be quite expensive. So what I'd recommend is to buy in mats now. Okay, there will be a Classic WoW craft for every single profession that will level you up to 325 when TBC drops, without actually needing any new Burning Crusade mats. Okay, if it's orange at level 300, it will go up to 325. An example of this for tailoring would be bright cloth pants. So in the long run, you will save a lot of money and a lot of time, because it might be difficult to farm these materials when TBC drops too, you know, finding your fel iron bars and your netherweave cloth. We'll have a more detailed profession guide coming soon. It's going to be called How to Get Ahead with Professions in TBC Classic. It's going to drop very, very soon, so stay tuned for that one. And the exact same thing goes for enchanting mats. They will likely increase in cost in the pre-patch, so if you need materials for, you know, leveling in main, you know, enchants on your weapons for when you're leveling up in TBC, or you need it on your alts for leveling a draenei or blood elf, then I would buy the mats now in the pre-patch and then just enchant them later when the pre-patch drops. Fifthly, I want to talk about Disenchanting. So Disenchanting totally changes in the pre-patch. In Classic WoW, you can get a level 5 with level 1 skill and enchanting to essentially disenchant anything. So if you're leveling professions or have any BOE items lying around, just send them to a disenchanting alt and take advantage of this little trick while you can, okay? Because you can get all those enchanting mats and then sell them in the pre-patch for more gold that you will be able to sell them for now, and probably more likely more expensive than the vendor cost of the actual item you're disenchanting. It only takes about 15 minutes to get disenchanting already. Did for me anyway, and you know, if you don't already have one already. Number 6, I want to talk about getting gear for your draenei and your blood elf, particularly weapons, okay, because they're probably quite cheap right now. You can look on the auction house right now and I guarantee there's going to be random blue weapons that are absolutely amazing for leveling a low level character going really dirt cheap on the auction house, okay, which will likely increase in value in the pre-patch. So you want to buy it now, particularly weapons, right, for shamans and blood elves. Plus, the auction house won't actually be accessible for a little while during the pre-patch, so you want to buy the items now. And then what you can do is when you make a character, you can relog your main, send all the items to your new draenei or blood elf, and then he can just basically go to the mailbox whenever he is high enough level to equip various different items that you've sent to that character. Number 7, I have a quick one because I've talked about it a number of times on the channel already. If you farm battleground marks right now, you know, 20 of each battleground faction, then you can actually keep them into the pre-patch, so you can get slightly ahead when it comes to farming gear in the pre-patch, because obviously you can get the PvP gear from Classic for basically honor points and marks of honor in the pre-patch. And then what you can also do is farm loads of BG marks in the 24-hour window before when the pre-patch drops to get extra marks thrown at you in your mailbox. Personally, it only took me a couple of days to get all the marks farmed up to 20, so I'd recommend doing it. If you're Alliance and you're doing Altaric Valley, it might be difficult for the Horde actually, but what the Alliance can do is they can join pre-made cross-server stuff, which will definitely help you actually getting some wins. Now, if you're planning to level a character in the pre-patch, but you don't want to level a draenei or a blood elf, I would not be putting it off until the pre-patch, okay? I'd recommend getting as much levels in as you can right now. My advice would be to get a character to at least level 20, okay, because what this will do is totally get you ahead of everyone who is leveling in a pre-patch, because obviously people are leveling lots of draeneis and blood elves, and all the lower level zones are just going to be totally dominated, and it's going to be very difficult for you to complete quests. So the further you get ahead now, the better. Obviously, the higher level you get in Classic WoW, the slower it starts to get, but getting to level 20, you can do that in a one-day sesh, maybe a couple days. So yeah, I know it'll get you massively ahead. Even if you get 5 levels ahead, you're putting yourself at a big advantage. One little bonus tip, guys, because lots of people will be leveling, you know, in the pre-patch, leveling low-level characters, the higher level zones will probably be much more empty, which means you can probably take advantage of that when it comes to farming gold, using various methods, using the open world in the higher level zones during that time. A 9th point, get ores, okay? So dual crafting is coming in the pre-patch, so it's worth farming as much ores as you can now to then sell in the pre-patch, because they're going to increase in value. You know, your copper ores all the way up until thorium ores, they're all going to increase in value because basically people need it for leveling. And the exact same goes for herbs. People are going to be leveling alchemy in the pre-patch very likely on various alts, boosted characters, and you know, maybe they're draenei and blood elves because they need, you know, primal might cooldown and everything like that. So I imagine the price of herbs is definitely going to increase in value too. So farm as many herbs as you can now and don't sell them now, sell them in the pre-patch. Anyway guys, that's where I'm getting the video there. Hopefully one of these tips is going to help you out in one way or another. My name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.